Hi, I'm James Stuber. I'm an engineer and a productivity nerd who's trying to relearn some intuitive skills. I promise you that today's video is going to be boring. Why is that? Because we're going to talk about the boring fundamentals. When I was growing up, I hated exercise. I'm the type of kid that got a B in freshman PE. No one gets a B in freshman PE. My parents used to make me go for a run because they knew it would be good for me. So what I would do is I would leave the house, I would jog until I was completely out of sight and around the corner, and then I would sit on the sidewalk and play with dead leaves or just stare at the wall until I thought it was like a good enough time. And then I would jog back home and pretend like I had been running the whole time. Sorry, Mom. But now I'm a person who exercises regularly. What changed? For any endeavor, there's a set of fundamental skills, these fundamental building blocks that take a lot of repetition, a lot of practice before they become easy. These are what I like to call the boring fundamentals. They can be sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night. They can be eating your vegetables. For guitars, they could be practicing your chords. For math, it could be practicing your algebra or your calculus. All of these useful skills require these sort of boring fundamentals. And we all know, we've all been told that if we do these boring fundamentals, they'll be good for us. So why don't we do them? Well, you see, these boring fundamentals are boring. To get good at them, they're really repetitive. You have to do the same thing day in, day out. Just keep practicing those chords, keep running, keep going to sleep on time. The standard reasons like it's good for you, you'll be better off for it, you'll be a better person. These aren't enough to motivate us. What if there was a better way to get motivated to do the boring fundamentals? There's a blog article by skier Tim Peck where he talks about different types of fun. Type 1 fun is the type of fun that you think about when you think about fun. It's going to a party, it's riding a roller coaster, it's watching an amazing movie. Pure hedonism is the type of fun that we can classify as type 1 fun. But there are other types of fun. There's type 2 fun. Now, type 2 fun is a little different because when you're doing an activity that's type 2 fun, it doesn't feel fun at all. It's often a grind, it's often stressful. For example, running a marathon can be type 2 fun. Running a Tough Mudder could be type 2 fun. All of these things suck in the moment. They're strenuous, they push you to your limit, but the reason we still classify them as fun is because when you're done with the task and you've accomplished it, you get this sense of fulfillment that the time you spent suffering was worth it. And that feeling of accomplishment and fulfillment is what I like to classify as type 2 fun. There's another type of fun which is just straight up not fun. There are some activities in life that are just straight up not fun. If you're the type of person that loves doing your taxes, you should probably be an accountant. But if not, you can classify doing your taxes as something that's not fun. So we have these two types of fun. Type 1 fun is clearly fun. Type 2 fun takes some suffering, some work, some challenge, some repetition. But in retrospect, when you look back on your accomplishments, it is fun. Now, the reason we don't do the boring fundamentals, the reason why we avoid practicing our guitar drills or going for a run is because we think type 2 fun is not fun. We expect and anticipate that the activity is not going to provide a reward and that it's just going to be straight up flat, not fun. And it's this confusion between type 2 fun and not fun that causes us to totally not do the boring fundamentals. So the way to make the boring fundamentals fun is to reframe your anticipation for the activity. There's a blogger I like to read. His name is Tynan. Tynan is someone who, on the surface, looks like a hedonist. He loves to travel. He lives in Vegas. He loves buffets. He loves going on cruises. He bought a private island. Like, these are not things that you would associate with someone who does boring things. But Tynan actually loves boring things. He loves the act of washing the dishes so much that he wrote an entire blog article on washing the dishes and how much he loves it. But his love for dishes was not inherent in something about him. It was something that he cultivated and that he built up through observation. The things that Tynan loves about washing the dishes are things he observed during the process and observed after the process. So during the process, he realized that he really enjoys the warm water on his hands, the feeling of soap, the satisfaction of wiping dishes clean. And he also realized that he really loves the feeling of having a clean kitchen, of being tidy. So by being intentional about the way he thinks about doing the dishes, he's connected this idea of a clean, tidy kitchen with the act of doing the dishes. He's turned something that a lot of people think is not fun into type 2 fun. You can do this kind of reframing in all sorts of situations. For instance, I really used to hate running, to the extent that I would go sit on the sidewalk and pretend like I was running. I thought that running was not fun. And the way I got over that was by connecting the end result with the activity. I sat down and I visualized in my head what it feels like to run, that pain in your lungs, the pain in your legs. And I also would visualize the results that I wanted, the sense of freedom of movement when you're running, that runner's high, that sense of accomplishment when you break a PR. I held both of these ideas in my head, the pain of running and the joy of running. And this little visualization exercise where you hold both of these ideas in your head sort of helps you connect the two together. You can try this with a boring fundamental that you're trying to do. Sit down and think about what you don't like about it, the painfulness, the struggle, and think about the results that you're going to get. Try to hold both of those ideas in your head. See what that does for your motivation and your desire to do the boring fundamental. When you can look at a boring fundamental and realize it's type 2 fun and make that emotional connection in your brain between the struggle and the results and meld them into one, you too can make the boring fundamentals fun. The struggle is not going to go away. It's still difficult to do any of these boring fundamentals and get good at them. But with the right reframing, you too can realize that the things you want to do are actually type 2 fun, and that it doesn't take that much willpower to get started on a boring fundamental. Try it out and let me know. So today we talked about the boring fundamentals. We talked about type 1 fun, which is the fun that we all think about when we hear the word fun. We talked about type 2 fun, which involves some sort of struggle before reaching an accomplishment. Remember that the reason we don't like the boring fundamentals is because we mistake the activity with not fun things instead of the type 2 fun things that they really are. So next time you're struggling to get motivated to practice your guitar chords, to go for a run, to eat your broccoli, remember type 2 fun. Remember to hold the results and the struggle in your mind at the same time and keep at it. Please subscribe to my email newsletter. There's a link down below. I'll see you next time.